inmates were treated back in the day. And I remember having an interview many years ago with Eldridge Van Putten. When he was in prison, he formed the Inmates Association. And when he came out, I wanted to do an interview to find out what this Inmate Association was all about. So I asked him, why do we have so many reoffenders? He says, a lot of times it's because they're shunned by their families and they're not really admitted back into the home. So, and they don't have any friends, they know where they become homeless, in other words. So what they do, they commit a crime again to be put into prison, because there they'll know they'll get 3 square meals and they'll get free medical attention. You know, with this DSRP, I believe it's called, how will that work? Because it's state of the art, from what I understand, and it's almost like they're going into a hotel. Talk to us about, you know, from beginning, once they get arrested, and then walk us through the process until they go to court, or until they complete their sentence then.
Yeah, indeed, you know, and that's why, again, I think we need to look at that holistic approach, you know, and a large problem that we have here on the island is our society is so small. You know, and a lot of times if someone is getting sick in a house, you take them out of the house and you fumigate and you check and you see what is the source of what is happening. But here what we're doing is you're taking out the sick person and then you're putting them right back into the same environment that made them sick in the first place. And that's why I think it's a broader thing that we need to look at in terms of how do we also address what's happening in our community. You know, all the time we get as Ministry of Justice, you know, oh, the crime, oh, the robberies, oh, this, and but there's a root cause of that, and I think that one that we don't talk enough about as a population, in terms of where is this coming from? You know, why are our young men going out and, you know, going into Front Street and robbing jewelry stores?
Committing all these crimes.
Exactly. You know, why are we seeing, and we are seeing, you know, as a Ministry of Justice, some of the people that were reoffending, you know, where unfortunately a lot of times we pick up guys that have quite recently come out of prison, then there's something wrong, you know, and we're trying to figure out as a ministry too, like, how do we, from our part at least, because again, the Ministry of Justice is the end of the line, and it's not that preventative side, but I'm trying to work with the Ministry of Education, with the Ministry of VSA, through the Crime Fund, and we have some projects next year that we would like to launch, and looking more at crime prevention and how do we get into the communities and try to make a difference. Even though it's not necessarily the task of the Ministry of Justice, I do feel a very strong obligation to contribute as much as we can, because, you know, they become our problems at some point as well.
Yes.
But looking into what are we trying to do within the system is offer more programs. You know, a lot of times when I've been up there, most of the inmates will tell me, Minister, we have nothing to do. We just sit in here. And, you know, we're trying now to do more. We've brought in now as our implementing partner. We have a large focus in this new facility on what we call the soft components. So the hard components are that brick and mortar, the furniture, the building itself. But the soft elements are what we call the human elements of what goes into that. So we're looking at our staff, making sure, of course, that we have adequate staffing, that they have adequate training. How do we keep them and make sure that they are also healthy and also doing well? But besides that, we also want to look at how can we offer programs to the inmates that give them more meaning, and looking at how we can help them to improve. And again, looking at mental health, and a lot of that does not happen at the moment. So how do we ensure that they're also incentivized to try to invest in themselves during the time that they're there? Because I think what you're seeing now is indeed people go in, they sit there, they get the food, but they do nothing else. You know, they haven't actually become a better person. And what we're doing is we're looking at how can we invest in this individual, that it's also an investment into the community that they will go back into after. So again, looking at, and also how do we incentivize? Because, for example, we have a prison education program. Many people don't participate in it because, again, we can't force anybody to partake in a program in the prison.
So nothing is mandatory.
Nothing is mandatory. We can't force them and say you have to go and do this. So what we're looking at as well is how do we move to a place where we can incentivize individuals to work on themselves. You know, a lot of times we also have a culture here where for men, it's very difficult for them to admit that they need help or that maybe they don't know how to read. And so it's easier for them then to sit in the cell and not do anything and not partake in any programs than to admit to weakness. And we want to see how can we then look for a way to incentivize that. Some of the things we're looking at, for example, is you have in parts of the world where they have programs in the prisons, for example, like reading programs where for every book that you read and you write a summary of that book, a book report, that you get 2 days off your sentence. Of course, capped to a certain level. You know, I was also having a discussion with Emily on his program recently where he was telling me about, you know, something he saw where in one prison as well, where if for good behavior or for partaking in programs, inmates were given cats. And then they would get treats for the cats.
animal.
And he was like, you know, you would see these big men with their little cat, you know, and so again, we're looking at how can we learn from other jurisdictions as well and things that have worked, because I think that we need to find ways to help and develop behavior a certain way as well. You know, and I've had discussions with the organization teaching in the prison, you know, where they told me they had a student, you know, where someone comes in maybe at a pre-K level of learning, of reading. And through them also improving and getting better, almost getting to that GED program, you also recognize that then they are much better able to regulate their emotions in a way that they weren't able to before. And so I think that all of these things are things that we're looking at. You know, one of my favorite quotes is from the Wittgenstein, where it says, the limits of your world are the limits of your language. And I think that those are, you know, how do we educate and how do we, you know, make them want to actually participate and do more. So that is in a nutshell, I think, in a very big nutshell, you know, things that we're looking at and how we want to approach this.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, Com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
St. Martin, as heavy rain falls across our region, we urge all residents and visitors to exercise caution and stay alert. Here are the areas prone to street flooding, flash floods, and/or rock slides. Avoid these locations until water levels subside. Ateelage Road Roundabout, Cul-de-Sac. Arch Road, Sucker Garden. Beacon Hill Road, Simpson Bay. Ateelage Road, Border Monument, Belvedere, Lower Princess Quarter. Billy Folly Road, Cole Bay. Emma Plain, Phillipsburg. L.B. Scott Road, Cul-de-Sac. Rhine Road, Lowlands. Welhalaken Road, Low K Roundabout, Cahill, Little Bay. Well Road, Wellington Road, and Orange Grove Road, Cole Bay. Yancho Rousquin Boulevard, Point Blanche, and Sakersgut Road, Cul-de-Sac. Remember, safety comes first. Let's work together to keep our community safe. This public service announcement is brought to you by the Department of Communication.
It is an honor we carry with our heart. Your confidence in us shows the trust that defines our cooperation, and we are committed to serving with dedication and respect. I want to reaffirm a conviction that guides our vision to the future. A strong healthcare system is built on preparedness, prevention, mental well-being, quality, and a capable workforce. By committing to these principles together, we strengthen our collective resilience. Mental well-being is not merely a health topic. It is the center of strong societies, of productive workforces, and of families who feel supported and safe. Thank you for allowing Curaçao to lead this crucial part of our collaboration. Today, I also want to underline the importance of the onderlinge regeling. This agreement is not just a technical instrument, it is the backbone of our cooperation. It ensures that our commitments are clear, our responsibilities shared, and our ambitions aligned. The onderlinge regeling is more than paperwork. It is a promise of transparency, partnership, and a long-term collaboration. A promise that we move forward together. That's why I want you to be patient, because I would like to dedicate enough time to review and bring the best version on table for us all. To every country represented here, Aruba, St. Martin, and the Bass Islands, I want to say this clear. We have heard your requests, your concerns, and your priorities. And as one united family, we will make it happen one way or the other. Because families step on for one another, families stand together in challenges, and families find solutions even when the path is difficult. What you have asked of us will not be forgotten. It will be acted upon. Preparedness, prevention, mental well-being, and a capable workforce guide us. But unity is what empowers us. Unity is what transforms agreements into actions and cooperations into progress. Let us leave this meeting with renewed conviction. Let us continue to uplift one another, support one another, and strengthen one another. Because when Curaçao advances, so does Aruba, so does St. Martin, so does the Bass. And when St. Martin becomes stronger, the Bass, Curaçao, and also Aruba Islands and the Netherlands benefits too. Our destinies are interwoven, our resilience collective. Just as my colleague says, we stand united behind the blue wave, the pride of Curaçao. As they make their historic journey to the FIFA World Cup, so too do we stand united here today. Their strength is our strength, their victory is our victory, and just as we cheer them one side by side, we too move forward as one team, one kingdom, one family, united in spirit, united in purpose, and united in destiny. Thank you.
I agree that this process that we have just completed is one that is very important, that will make a definite difference for the people of St. Martin, Saba, Statia, Aruba, and Curaçao, all of us together. Have I forgotten an island? Bonaire, oh, good, okay then. And Bonaire as well. Because at the end of the day, our focus, all of us, is the public health, the people of our nations, our respective nations, especially the vulnerable group. I've said it on several occasions. We have the same common goal, the same common motivation, and that is for the people that we are serving, the people that we are here to represent. As brothers and sisters, we may fight at times. That is true. But at the end of the day, we always find a way to come back together, hug, kiss, and we even forgot what we fought about. That's how family works. And we are a family. We don't always see eye to eye. But on this aspect of public health, on what we're doing, we're seeing eye to eye, and we're going to move forward together for the people that we represent. I come from a notion, those that know my background, VKS, and it is, we leave no man behind. We will leave no Dutch kingdom behind. All of us will move forward. We are each other's brothers and sisters keeper. And just like you said as well, when one progress, all progress. Can I hear that? When one progress, all progress. When one progress, all progress. Amen. To the civil servants, the technocrats that were behind all of this. Because as ministers, we had the easy part, to be honest. Because yesterday I sat at the back and I listened to how the negotiation went. Wow, that's a skill. That's a skill. I don't even think we pay you all enough. But nevertheless, thank you very much. Thank you very much for all that you have contributed to making this possible. And for the people, please, please don't give up on us. We have your best interests at heart, and within the next coming years, you will see the fruits of our labor. That we can guarantee you, together, right? Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the event.
As the holiday season, the festivities and the Christmas parade and also St. Martin Day, the cultural parade are recurring events every year. What is the reason that there is not a fixed budget for the annual festivities, like the important things? And what variables do you have? What kind of other funds besides your fixed budget for TIAD you have that you can dip into pay for extra lights or whatever?
Thank you, Jacqueline. I think I mentioned this before. When we got in May 2024, the budget 2024 was already active, and March 2024 budget 2025 was already submitted. So these two budgets, 2024 and 2025, are not in alignment with what we have in our governance program because they're not our budget. So that's one of the reasons. Sometimes you want to do some certain projects that you have vision for, but it's not in that budget because 2025 budget was already set in stone. We have many different avenues we can use to support events like this. We have the capex, which we can purchase all kind of different assets. So for events like this, we have in our operational costs, we have product development, where enhancement of the tourism, enhancement of the country. We can also touch into that. But those budgets are very minute. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a budget of 23 million guilders, and I think it's about 18 million of it goes into the operational costs and the civil servants, and we have like maybe couple millions to just do the marketing and so on. So I always keep saying we're the engine that could, we're always the engine that keep pushing, but that's unfortunately the budget we have to deal with. And next year we have to focus on, of course, simulating that budget, bringing in more revenue streams to allow other budgets, not only ours, to also increase. So unfortunately, that's the way, that's our reality. 2024 budget and 2025 budget is not our budget. We are just merely doing with a little we have to do the most.
What would have the Christmas parade have costed?
The Christmas parade, we had funds for the Christmas parade, but we ended up using the funds for an emergency that came out during this year. So the Christmas parade would have cost, last time I think we had some funds left over. The Christmas parade cost about maybe 10,000 guilders or less. But right now, given how the year went and how we had to allocate funds, it was just not possible.
SXM, your social and health insurance. SXM, your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, your social and health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com. SXM Daily News.
The Jamaica Public Service is reporting that power has been restored to 74% of customers in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. But attention remains on Westmoreland, where the system made landfall as many residents continue to live in darkness. The company says downed poles and damaged power lines are among the many issues it has to contend with. Ramarda Lyons has this update.
All the poles are down. The lines are down.
The reality across several communities in Westmoreland, home to over 140,000 citizens. JPS President Hugh Grant says there's been a concentrated effort to return power to commercial centers like Negril.
That's where you have employment. That's where you have jobs. And that's where you can give folks a sense of hope as we then build out into the various communities.
The resort town was lit up on November 20, 23 days after Hurricane Melissa left it in darkness. But Mr. Grant says the tourist hotspot is still in a very compromised state. This is why.
The west is separated from the east. Right now, we're literally operating two separate systems. And that is because the transmission lines, which is the backbone and the high voltage lines connecting generation to our customers, is actually significantly damaged and some are still out of service.
The hum of power in the streets of Negril today is because a major line connecting St. James and Hanover was restored.
Westmoreland has over 34,000 customers, and just shy of 10% is actually supplied from Orange Bay. The majority is supplied from one of our substations in Paradise called Paradise Substation. The reality is all the major transmission lines to bring power into Paradise is currently out of service. We have just shy of 200 structures, and more than 100 of those structures that traverses challenging hilly terrain, they're all down.
Mr. Grant says JPS is exploring creative solutions to fix the line connecting Orange Bay to Paradise.
And once we get that line up, then we'll be able to start providing more power into Westmoreland. And we're targeting that.
Now, several moving parts are being addressed concurrently.
We're getting the power into Paradise Substation. We're getting the substation ready, so when it receives the power, it can take it. And then we're working on the distribution lines to take the power out of Paradise and power up our communities. And we're working all those three things in parallel. My commitment to you here in Westmoreland is that we will not stop until every community is powered up.
Mr. Grant pointed specifically to healthcare.
The good news is we are committing to get the hospital up and running by the second week in December, because we need to get the Paradise substation up, and then we need to get the lines from Paradise to the hospital up. And we are working assiduously only to do better from this particular day. But we're on it, we understand the importance, and Savlamar Hospital, we're coming at you.
Ramarda Lyons, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, in addition to over 70 bucket trucks, more specialized equipment have been deployed across several affected parishes, and over 320 overseas line workers were brought into the island to assist with restoration efforts.
We never just bring them in after the storm. We brought in more than 70 before the storm, which is what best in class looks like. So from day one after the storm, we were mobilized, responding safely. I'm focused on delivering on our promises. I'm really big on keeping to our promises and keeping to our commitments and delivering on what we say we would do. And the good news is, since the passage of Melissa, everything that we have promised, we have delivered.